Now I was gonna wait till I got home to the studio slash my garage, right, to record this video because, but I couldn't wait, and I'm gonna tell you why in this faceless video real quick. But first, if you're new here, thank you for joining in, and if you're an older subscriber, thank you for joining us back in for this and supporting the small community that I'm trying to build out here. I appreciate any sort of support I can get right about now. Now let's get back to this Beterbiev versus Bivol situation, right? So you know you got a good fight on your hands where everybody's still split 50-50, whether or not, you know, who won, what won, this one, who won, you know, how they won, etc. And I'm really shocked to see a lot of YouTube boxing channels that I really like and respect. And I'm not saying that their opinion is not valid. It is their opinion, but to out flat out, some of them I'm hearing, oh, Bivol won that fight easily. He breezed through it. Now I'm not sure what fight they were watching, and I'm gonna tell you why. So during this fight, first of all, hats off to Bivol because he did something that I didn't think he was gonna do, which was stand in the pocket at times and try to fight Beterbiev, try to get his respect. The problem with that is he couldn't stand there for long. He had to get on his bicycle a lot, and that took a lot of energy out of him. You know, but he fought when he needed to, and he knew he had to do that because he couldn't just do the Oscar De La Hoya versus Trinidad, where, you know, the first four rounds, you know, you're boxing on your bicycle, you know, you're kind of standing there a little bit. But once you fought that left hook from Tito Trinidad, he got on his bicycle and said, I got to circle a lot, and was just fighting in spots while Tito was pressing the action and blocking a lot of combinations. This is what happened here, where you saw Bivol, you know, be busy. He was on his toes, back and forth, throwing combinations, you know, looking flashy. The problem with that is that if anybody that's worth anything in boxing would realize is that Beterbiev was catching a lot of that on his gloves. He does not get credit, a la Hagler versus Leonard, blocking a lot of those shots with his, you know, with the upright defense, you know. So he doesn't have the head movement defense. He doesn't have the on your toes defense. But you still got to give him credit. I haven't heard a couple of guys saying, well, he was hurt with left hooks. He was wobbled. I've never seen Beterbiev at all, not one time in that fight, wobbled. Never on Bambi legs, although I did see Bivol like on shaky legs. I'm not going to say Bambi legs, but he was on shaky legs, specifically in the 10th round and 11th rounds, where he got mauled. And a couple of rounds in between, he got bullied. So it's every time he stood in there with Beterbiev put hands on him, he knew he had to move. And Beterbiev was catching a lot of those shots. He was catching a lot of those shots on the earmuffs, on the elbows, on the forearms. He was kind of like catching on forearms at times. And you had to watch the fight. If you watch it, and what happens with a lot of casuals, and I guess now it's trickling down to quote-unquote boxing experts and boxing expert channels, is that you have in these guys, you have the crowd in the arena, and you have the announcers who are biased, obviously, towards the fighter that the promotion is currently fighting, you know, which was happening last night a lot, by the way. It was a lot. If you were watching the Sergio Mora, which I think was Sergio Mora, if I'm not mistaken, and or the Liam Smith broadcast, you heard a lot of like, oh, Bivol counters, and he was not countering effectively. A lot of those counters were blocked. A lot of the times with combinations were thrown in flurries and the crowd went wild and they praising Bivol. They were hard to, every time they showed a replay, they'll show the one punch that landed, but the 3 or 4 that did not do anything. Some of them didn't even make contact with Beterbiev. You know, if you know what you're looking at, you know Beterbiev was winning a lot of these quote-unquote close rounds. Now, some of the rounds were close. The fight was highly contested. It was chess at its finest at times. I give Bivol so much credit, but a lot of people overestimated Bivol's ability to go up against Beterbiev versus, you know, because of his fight with Canelo and Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo Ramirez is a good fighter, but he's no Beterbiev, right? So you got that going on, and then a lot of people just got high on Bivol because he beat, you know, Canelo Alvarez, you know, political post. Remember, Canelo Alvarez was losing to Kovalev until he knocked him out. He was not winning that fight. You know, Kovalev was controlling Canelo with the jab effectively, and it was no secret. until he caught a shot fighter dead in the jaw. And then of course a shot fighter will do what a shot fighter will do when a great fighter hits him, right? So that was anybody that knows boxing at all will see that and be like, okay, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So now you have a 39-year-old going on 40, Beterbiev, off of a 5-month rehab, really, of knee surgery. And even Beterbiev said it himself. It was not my best night of boxing. I believe I did enough to win, but I did not do well at all. He was down. He said, and they were asking him, well, what are you upset that you didn't get the knockout? He was like, well, great fighters all the time don't get knockouts. So the fact that I didn't get one didn't bother me either. And it was like, oh, but what about your corner telling you in the 10th that you needed to knock him out? They say that all the time. He was like, well, did you get to hurt him though? Did you hurt him with your punches? He said no, because I couldn't land flush on him. He was dead honest with everybody, but he believed he won because I think he saw what everybody else saw. He didn't get pieced up like he was piecing up Bivol. I mean, Bivol's face told the story, and if you just watch the fight again, turn on the volume and just watch it again. And that's hard to do. Like, oh, well, that's not what's happening in time. Well, the judges did get it right now. The one at 116, 114, okay, you could say he should have given one more round going the other way, but the right guy got the decision at the end of the day. I mean, one guy had it a dead up draw. I wouldn't have been mad with the draw because Bivol was doing things that made him look like he was winning. So you'd be hard pressed to say that he didn't win any of those rounds that were close with the flashiness at the end. So a draw, you could go, okay, I'm not gonna cry too much about that. But 115, 113, that's even. So a draw, then you got two judges for Beterbiev. Now if they would have been both 115, 113, then I would have been like, okay, that's a little closer, with an even round in between. And that gives credit to Bivol's work. And again, I'm praising Bivol, and he made no excuses for himself either. It's everybody else around him. So at the end of the day, it's sad to see the word robbery thrown around, which it wasn't robbery. It was a great tactical fight. I'm not gonna say it was a great fight. Great fights have everything in it: drama, everything else, and high skill. This had high skill, high IQ, tactical fight. So it was a great to watch that, that fight. And and I was glad that was the first fight that my daughters watched with me straight through, because they were invested, and it wasn't a drag out brawl. It was a tactical fight, so they got introduced to boxing the right way during that fight. And then they were rooting for Bivol because they hear my videos, and they were like rooting for Bivol. And when they cried robbery, right, because they saw the flashiness. This is the first time watching a fight, so they watched the flashiness and were like, how does he not win when he looked the part, right? And I had to break it down to them, and then eventually they were like, you full of it, Dad. But whatever. But it goes to show you it was a great tactical fight, and it should be a rematch. But I think Beterbiev showed me that he was weakened by that knee. He was not jumping forward a lot and cutting the ring off a lot, which was smart because he wasn't trying to put stress on that knee. And that's why he couldn't really, I think, put the punches together. Now it remains to be seen whether that still bothers him in the rematch, but I think with another 5 months, 6 months of healing, it'll just be harder for Bivol to fight. As a matter of fact, I think Bivol will be in his own head in the rematch and want to stand and trade with him more instead of dance around the ring more, move more, and that'll set up Beterbiev even better, because the last thing to go in a great boxer is their power, and the power punch is their power. And I think Beterbiev will just catch him easier, because I think Bivol will be trying to prove a point to the judges at that point. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is this the fight that you thought was going to happen? I kind of called it just the way it happened. I thought he would get knocked out Bivol in the 11th, and it almost did happen, because you saw Beterbiev closing that distance and really mauling him at that point. But he made it out, and he got mauled again in the 12th. So let me know, what do you think? Did this fight live up to your expectations? Do you think that Beterbiev did enough to, pull it out in the end, pause, and actually, will win a fight and didn't get the credit he deserved for his defense? Or do you think, Bivol's busyness and on his toes style was the one that edged him out? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's do the next video, and I'm out. Peace.